Welcome all dear students to online learning stations. Today we are going to understand standard 8 biology chapter, that is chapter number 2, microorganisms, friends and foe. In this chapter we are going to understand the microorganisms which are friendly to us, how they are friendly and why some of the microorganisms are enemy, that are foe to us. So we are going to understand this concept in this chapter. We are going to cover the points in this chapter. 2.1 microorganisms, 2.2 where do microorganisms live, 2.3 microorganisms and us, 2.4 harmful microorganisms, 2.5 food preservation, 2.6 nitrogen fixation, 2.7 nitrogen cycle. So let's understand these points in this chapter. Now you have already seen the several kinds of plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which are normally cannot see. These are called microorganisms or microbes. For example, you might have observed that during the rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with the greyish white patches. Observe the patches through the magnifying glass. In the previous class you had performed this activity. We had seen that on the bread or a stale roti we can see some of the white patches of these green and greyish patches. Now we will see a tiny black rounded structure. Do you know what these structures and where do these come from? Yes, these are the fungus, or we can say small organism, microorganisms which are causing that. Now let us understand 2.1 microorganism. Before that, here activity 2.1 and 2.2 tell us that collect some moist soil from the field in a beaker and add water to it. After the soil particles have settled down, observe a drop of water from the beaker under a microscope. What do you see? And another activity 2.2 is that take a few drops of water from a pond, spread on a glass slide and observe through a microscope. Now while performing this activity, what you had observed? You observe that shows that the water and soil are full of tiny organisms. Many tiny organisms are there which is present in the sample. Though all of not them fall into a category of microbes. All of them are not microbes. But we can see that these microorganisms or microbes are so small in size that they cannot be seen with the unaided eye. So some of these such as fungus that grows on bread can seen with the magnifying glass, other cannot be seen with the help of a microscope. That is why these are called microorganisms or microbes, isn't it? So what we had understand that microorganisms are small in size, they are tiny organisms. Some of the organisms can be seen with the help of microscope or with the help of a magnifying glass, but we cannot be seen with our naked eyes. Now basically these microorganisms are classified into 4 major groups. These 4 major groups are bacteria, fungi, protozoa and some of them are algae. Now let's see about that. Now some of the common microorganisms which is here are bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. Now viruses are also microscopic but are different from the other microscope. Why? Because they however reproduce only inside the host organism. Viruses needs host body to reproduce. So we can say these only reproduce inside the cells of the host organism, which may be bacterium, a plant or an animal. Some of these viruses also causes common ailment like cold, influenza that is flu, and most cough are caused by viruses. Serious disease like polio and chickenpox are caused by viruses. Diseases like dysentery and malaria are caused by protozoa, that is protozoans. And whereas typhoid and tuberculosis which is caused by this bacterial disease. So we can say that viruses are also microscopic but are different from the other microorganisms. Why viruses are known as the different from the other microorganisms? Because viruses needs a host cell to reproduce inside the body, whether it is in plant, animal, and there are the severe diseases which are caused by virus, that is cold, flu, polio, etc. caused by virus, malaria, dysentery caused by protozoan, typhoid, TB, etc. caused by bacterial disease. So these are the viruses which causes a disease. You can also see in the picture. Now this 2.2 is about where do microorganisms live. Now we all know microorganisms may be single celled or multicellular. Here we can say unicellular or a multicellular. Unicellular means the microorganisms whose body is made up of one cell. A multicellular means more than one cell or many cells. So we can say that they are maybe unicellular or multicellular, like bacteria, some algae and protozoa, or multicellular such as berry alga and fungi. They live in all types of environment ranging from ice cold climate to hot springs and desert to marshy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of animals including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other microorganisms while others exist freely. So there is no place or no such environment where microorganism does not exist. Microorganisms live in all types of environment, from hot climates to cold climates, marshy land, desert area, extreme conditions, springs. These all are the such climates where they can exist. We can also say that they also live inside the bodies of animals and we humans too. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms where other exist freely around us. So we can say there is no place or there is no such environment where microorganisms exist. Microorganisms exist in all the types of environments it's around us. Now in this next topic 2.3, we are going to understand microorganisms and us. So we can say that in this topic we are going to understand about such microorganisms which are friendly to us, which are living with us. These microorganisms plays an important role in our life. So let's understand about the friendly microbes. Now microorganisms plays an important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some of the others are harmful and cause diseasing. Now let us study about them in detail. So let us understand the friendly microbes, which are microorganisms which are used for various purposes. They are used in the preparation of curd, bread, cake, and some of the microorganisms have been using for the production of alcohol since the ages. They are also used up in cleaning up the environment. Here it is written that cleaning of the environment. You will think that how microorganism helpful in the cleaning of the environment. For example, the organic waste. We know organic waste means the vegetable peels, dry and leaves, animal fecal matter, isn't it? The dead bodies of animals which are broken down into harmless and usable substance by certain bacteria. Now recall that bacteria also used in the preparation of medicines. The bacteria is also used in the preparation of medicines, in the agriculture purpose, which increases the fertility of the soil. Some of them bacteria we are knowing, the rhizobum bacteria, which lives in the root nodules of the legumes plant and fix the nitrogen, isn't it? And so with that certain bacteria also lives in the soil, which enhance the fertility of the soil. Some of the microorganisms helpful in making of curd and bread, that is the lactobacillus and yeast are certain bacteria which are helpful in making of curd and bread, which is production by the organism of yeast which grows. Fermentation process. You know that your mother prepares the dosa, doklas, idli with the batter which is fermented, that is with the help of certain bacteria and yeast which reproduce inside that batter. Preparation of wine and alcohol in the yeast. So this is a commercial purpose, we can say. So these are the microorganisms which plays an important role in our life. Now how curd is prepared and bread. Now Peheli saw that her mother added a little curd to a warm milk to set for the next day. Peheli wondered why. Curd contains several microorganisms of these bacterium called lactobacillus. Promotes the formation of curd. Now with the action of these lactobacillus bacteria, the curd prepares. Now what does it multiplies in the milk and converts it into curd. Bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese, pickles and many other food items. With an important ingredient we can say rava or suji, idlis and baturas is curd, which is made up of curds with the help of curds and this lactobacillus bacteria which promotes the growth. Now can you guess why bacteria and yeast are also used for the helpful in the fermentation of rice and idlis and dosa batters? Now here students, I would like to tell you lactic acid, there is a lactobacillus, forms during the fermentation process. Now during this process the good enzymes are released which is very good for our digestion and which are helpful and which are friendly to our body. So these microorganisms are good for us. So here activity 2.3 is given. Take a half kg flour, that is maida or atta, add some sugar and mix with warm water. Add a small amount of yeast powder and knead to make a soft dough. Now with the help of maida or atta, okay, and little amount of sugar to be mixed with the warm water. Now what do you observe after 2 hours while you find that the dough is rising? Now yes, you can look in the figure also. Yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during the respiration. We understand now that we are anaerobic and aerobic respiration with the help of oxygen, aerobic respiration without the help or with the absence of oxygen, anaerobic respiration takes place where carbon dioxide energy is released. Bubbles of a gas filled with dough and increase its volume. So this is the basis of the use of yeast in baking industry for making breads, pastries, cakes and all. Now let us understand the commercial use, the preparation of wine and alcohol by yeast, commercial use of microorganism. Now microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine and acetic acid which is used to which is found in vinegar, acetic acid you can say. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in the grains like barley, wheat, rice, crushed fruit juices and etc. Now here activity 2.4 is also very interesting. Take a 500 ml beaker filled up to 3/4 with water. Now what you have to do, dissolve 2-3 teaspoons of sugar in it and store it. Add a half cup of spoon of yeast powder to the sugar solution. Now keep it covered in a warm place for 4 to 5 hours. Now smell the solution. After 4 to 5 hours you can open that setup and you can smell it. Now what can you smell? This is the smell of alcohol which is as a sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. This process of conversion of sugar to alcohol is known as fermentation. Now the fermentation is first discovered by the great scientist Louis Pasteur in 1857. So this Louis Pasteur discovered the fermentation process which is in that the conversion of sugar into alcohol. You can do this activity at your home under the guidance of your parents. This is a very interesting. You can see the growth of yeast. So this is the fermentation process which is first discovered by the great scientist Louis Pasteur. Now let us understand medicinal use of microorganisms which are friendly. Now these are the points to be remembered while using the antibiotics. It should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. Now we can say it is important to remember that antibiotics should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. Also you must complete the course which is prescribed by the doctor. So we should complete the course which are prescribed by the doctor, the antibiotics. We should not skip or we should not keep it left. We should complete full course which is prescribed by the doctor. If you take antibiotics when not needed or in wrong doses, it may make the drug less effective. Don't intake antibiotics when not needed or in a wrong way, wrong dose. It will be less effective when you really need in the future. So don't take it by your own self. Antibiotic also kills unnecessary, may kill the beneficial bacteria. With certain bacteria which are helpful, which are beneficial to our body, it also kills that bacteria. So we should not use unnecessarily these antibiotics. Antibiotics are not effective against the cold and flu, because as these diseases are caused by virus. So in the viruses, these antibiotics cannot be used. We can say that they are not effective. Okay. So now let's understand about the another use which we used in medicinal, that is a vaccine. Now let us understand the another useful of microorganisms which increases soil fertility by fixing cyanobacteria, nitrogen, that is a blue-green algae. Now some bacteria are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich the soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. We have seen that the rhizobium bacteria, and these microbes are commonly called the biological nitrogen fixers. Here we are having a nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria, that is a blue-green algae. Now another way of that friendly microbes which cleans the environment. Now let us understand how it cleans the environments. Now Bujo and Paheli has observed the school gardener making a manure. Along with their friends, they collected waste of plants, vegetables and fruits from the near houses and gardens. So we understand from this that the manures are prepared from these organic materials. They put them in a pit meant for waste disposal. After some time, it is decomposed and got converted to manure. Bujo and Paheli want to know how this had happened. Now for that activity 2.5 is about, take us 2 pots filled with each pot half with soil. Mark them A and B. Now put the plant waste in A pot and things like polythene bags, empty glass bottles and plastics are in pot B. Now for what you have to do, you have to take 2 pots, name them A and second one in B. Now in pot A you have to add the such soil which are added with the manure, which are put with that organic matter, and on another pot, that is on pot B, you have to put, like for example, plastic waste like polythenes, plastic toys and glass materials and everything that stuff. Now put the pot aside and observe after 3-4 weeks. Now after that long setup, do you find any difference in the contents of the 2 pots? If so, what is the difference? You will find that the plant waste in pot A has been decomposed. While how does this happen? The plant waste has been converted into manure by the action of certain bacteria. With the help of certain bacteria, that pot A, which is prepared from the organic waste, are decomposed. The nutrients released in the process can be used by plants. Again, we had understand these manures which is prepared, isn't it, which are easily absorbed by the soil and plants and animals, which are very useful to eat, which enrich the nutrients. Did you notice that the pot B, that polythene bags, empty glasses, bottles or broken toy parts did not undergo any such change? Why? Because the microbes could not act on them and convert them into a manure, because it are not prepared from the organic waste. Now you often see a large amount of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. You find that they disappear after some time. Why? Because the microorganism decompose dead organic waste of plants and animals and convert them into a simple substance. They convert them into simple substance, and which is again used up by plants or animals. Thus microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and the smelly substance and thereby clean up the environment. In this way, by decomposing such organic waste, these microorganisms clean the environment, and which makes the soil fertility by fixing a cyanobacteria, nitrogen at blue-green algae. So in this way we had understood how these microorganisms plays an important role in cleaning the bacteria. Now students, in this we had understand the friendly microbes. Which are the friendly microbes? How they are friendly? They are friendly in making curds, breads, cheese, alcohol, wine, isn't it? They are also helpful in preparation of medicines, vaccines and all. Now let us understand harmful microorganisms. Which are the microorganisms are not friend, they are foe to us. Now 2.4 is about harmful microorganisms. Now microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Some of the microorganisms cause diseases in human beings, plants and animals. Such disease causes microorganisms called pathogens, which is causes disease in human pathogens. Now some microorganisms spoil food, clothing and leather. Let us study more about their harmful activities. The very first which we can say disease causing microorganisms in humans, which are having pathogens which enters our body through the air we breathe, the water we drink or the food we eat. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with the infected person or carried by an animal. Microbial disease that can spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or we can say physical contact. So such diseases are called communicable diseases which is spread. Example are cholera, TB, etc. which comes in the contact of physical contact of an infected person or from that food, air, water that we take. Now example of such diseases includes cholera, common cold, chicken pox, tuberculosis, etc. Now when a person suffering from common cold sneeze, fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of virus are spread in the air. The virus may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing and cause infection. So Bujo is asking, then how do you prevent the spread of communicable diseases? We had seen now that when a person is sneezing or coughing, a fine droplets of moisture present in that are infected with the various viruses are released in the atmosphere, and it may infected that was breathed and taken by that another person, healthy person, and then how it is causes. So Bujo is asking, then how do you prevent the spread of communicable disease? Pehali nicely answering, we should keep a handkerchief on a nose and mouth while sneezing. We should cover our nose and mouth with the handkerchief, and it is better to keep a distance from a infected person. We should maintain a social distancing with such type of infected person. Now there are some insects and animals which act as a carriers. Some insects and animals act as a carriers. Now what we can say carriers? Carriers are such agents which carry infection or such bacteria or such microbes infected from one body to another body. So we can say that carriers which cause a disease is causing microbes. We are having that housefly, which is a common carrier. Housefly is such a carrier. It flies on and sit and garbage and animal excreta. Pathogens stick to their bodies. Now what happens when these flies sit on uncovered food? They may transfer the pathogens. What happens? This housefly sit on fly on the animal excreta, that garbage dump, and what happens? The pathogens stick to its body, and that housefly will sit to uncovered food. So what happens? Ultimately the food becomes contaminated. So we should not consume uncovered food, okay, because it is caused by we are not knowing what it is open, so what is the growth of bacteria in it. So these flies sit on uncovered food. They may transfer the pathogens, and whoever ate the contaminated food is likely to get sick. So it is advisable to always keep a food covered. Avoid consuming uncovered food items of food. Another example of a carrier is a female anopheles, which is caused malaria by a mosquito, female anopheles, as a carrier which a parasitic malaria, plasmodium mode. Now female Aedes mosquito act as a carrier of dengue virus. Female Aedes act as a dengue virus carriers. So how can we control the spread of malaria or dengue? Now here Pehli remember that her teacher keep on telling that not to let water collected anywhere in the neighborhood, because all mosquitoes breed in water. There is a water, collected water, or the water which is logged in our surrounding areas are the best breeding sites of these mosquitoes, or we can say these carriers. So one should not let water collect anywhere in coolers, tires, flower pot, etc. By keeping the surroundings clean and dry, we can prevent mosquitoes from the breeding. Now try to make a list of the measures which help to avoid the spread of malaria. So we can say that these are the carriers: housefly, female Anopheles mosquito which cause malaria, female Aedes mosquito which cause dengue, and the several houseflies which sits on a different garbage and dirty place, and which sits on a food which is not covered, and make the food contaminated, and the person who eats that food is likely to get sick and may enter the disease causing pathogens in the body. So we should consume the covered food, and we should not allow our surroundings dirty and waterlogged. We should keep our surroundings clean, because in these surroundings and certain surroundings like waters in tires, pots, ACs and water pods in our houses are the best breeding sites of the mosquitoes, which may causes the several diseases like malaria, dengue and other diseases. So we should take care. So in these are the harmful microorganism, we can say, that which causes disease in humans. Now let us understand the another harmful microorganisms. Now some of the common diseases affecting humans, their mode of transmission and few general methods of prevention which are shown in the table, that is table 2.1. Some common human diseases which is caused by microorganisms. Now in this table we are going to see human diseases, several human diseases, causative microorganisms, that mode of transmission and which are the preventive measures. So you can look on the picture also. Tuberculosis, very first disease caused in human by bacteria, which is a mode of transmission is air. Measles is caused by virus, mode of transmission is air. Chickenpox caused by virus, which is the mode of transmission is air and physical contact with the infected person. Polio, which is caused by virus and mode of transmission is air and water. Now what are the general preventive measures regarding TB, measles, chickenpox and polio? That keep the patient in complete isolation, keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others, vaccination to be given at the suitable age. So these are the diseases which are cured by vaccines, so one should be vaccinated at a suitable age. The next human disease we are having, that is cholera, which is caused by bacteria, and that mode of transmission is water and food, contaminated food we can say. Typhoid, which is caused by bacteria and mode of transmission is water. Now the preventions of these general measures are: maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits, consume properly cooked food and boiled drinking water, and vaccination must. Next disease is hepatitis A. Now it is caused by microorganism, by virus. Mode of transmission is water. So the general preventive measure is drink boiling water and vaccination must. Now last we are having human disease in this table is malaria, which is caused by protozoa and mode of transmission is mosquito. Now use mosquito net and repellents, spray insecticides and control breedings of mosquitoes, which we had generally understand now that the water near the surrounding should be cleaned up, because they are the best breeding sites of the mosquitoes, not allowing water to collect in the surroundings. And this malaria which is caused by protozoan, by which mosquito, which we had understand just now, that is the female Anopheles mosquito, which causes the parasites of malaria. So these are the certain diseases in human which is common, and these are the diseases which is caused by vaccination. So one should be vaccinated at a suitable age to cure from this disease. Now this is about the disease causing microorganisms in animal. Now let us see which type of diseases. Now several microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans and plants, but in animals too. Now for example, anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of a cattle is caused by a virus. Now here we can see that the anthrax disease is caused by a bacteria which was discovered by the Robert Koch, the great scientist. Now that causes a bacterium Bacillus anthracis. Now this anthrax disease you had also learned in class 7, that is a sheep, they are doing a shorter's job, where the wolves are remaining that, keeping under that, and they are sorting that. At the shortest job, this anthrax diseases takes place. So we can say that is a fatal blood diseases, so that job is a risky for the shortest job, and this disease also caused in animals also. So a person is also affected at this. So we can say that the anthrax is a dangerous disease in human and cattle caused by a bacterium, Anthracis balicis. So this is about this virus, which is, and another virus which is caused in mouth and foot, which is caused in by a virus in a cattle. So these are the diseases which is causing in animals, not only in humans, in plants. Now let us understand the next causing diseases in plants. Some common plant diseases which is caused by microorganisms. Now we had understand that the disease is caused in humans and animals. Now let us understand in plants. So several microorganisms cause disease in plants like wheat, rice, potato, sugar cane, orange, apple and others. The disease reduces the yield of crops, which can be controlled by the certain use of chemicals in which kills the microbes. Now we are table 2.2 shows that plant diseases, microorganism and mode of transmission. So let's see on the picture. Now the very first plant disease we are having citrus canker, which is caused by microorganism, bacteria, and mode of transmission is air. Now next we are having rust of wheat, which is caused by fungi, and mode of transmission is air and seeds. Now next we are having yellow vein of mosaic print, that is on okra. We can say that yellow vein mosaic of bindi or okra, which is caused by virus, and mode of transmission is insects. So these are the some common plant diseases which are caused by certain bacteria, fungi and virus, and their mode of transmission is air. We can say air or seeds or with the insects. Now these can be controlled by the use of certain chemicals which kills the growth of these harmful microbes, which causes some diseases in these plants. With the help of these chemicals, these are prevented the growth of certain microorganisms. Now let us understand food poisoning. Now how the food is poisoned. Bujoe was invited by his friend to a party and he ate a variety of food stuff. On reaching home, he started vomiting and had to be taken to a hospital. The doctor said that this condition could be due to the food poisoning. Pehli wonders how food became a poison. फूड कैसे पॉइजन हो सकता है. Now the food poisoning could be due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Microorganisms that grow on our food sometimes produce toxic substance. They produce some of the poisonous substance which reach in the food, and these make the food poisonous, causing serious illness, and even that's true. So it is very important that we preserve the food to prevent it from being spoiled. Now this food should be preserved because we had understand that certain microbacteria's growth becomes in food. So it should be preserved in such a way that the quality of the food not change, and the food which is remains in good condition, which is in a eatable form. Now let us understand food preservation. Now how food preservation perform a role in this. In chapter 1 we had learnt about the methods used to preserve and store food grains, isn't it? In chapter 1 we had understand the methods to store and preserve the food grains in different types of granary, silos, iron metallic tank and all. Now how do we preserve cooked food at home? Now let us understand. Do you know that the bread left unused under a moist soils, moist conditions is attacked by a fungus? Now microorganisms spoil our food. This spoiled food emits a bad smell and has a bad taste and change the color. So is a spoiling of food is a chemical reaction? Yes, chemical change. It will become a chemical reaction. The different new substance which are not which are unwanted are introduced to that food. Means that the food becomes spoiled, emits bad smell, change in taste, change in color. We can say bad taste, isn't it? So Paheli bought some of the mangoes, but she could not eat them for a few days. Later she found that they were spoiled and rotten. But she knows that the mango pickle her grandmother makes does not spoil for a long time. She confused. Paheli confused that the mangoes she purchased from the market are rotten up in a few days, while the mango pickle which is prepared by our grandmothers are kept for a long time, does not spoil. So what are the methods? Now let us study the common methods of preserving food in our homes. We have to save it from the attack of microorganism. You might have noticed your mothers, dadis or nannies do certain methods for preserving food at home in a very nice methods. Now very first method we are having over here, food preservation, is a chemical method. Now what this chemical method is this? Now salts and edible oils are the common chemicals generally used to check the growth of microorganisms. So therefore they are called preservatives. So we can say this common salt or edible oils are the preservative. It makes the food preserve for a long time. We add salt or acid preservatives to pickles to prevent the attack of microbes. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite are common preservatives. These are also used in jams and squash to check their spoilage. So these are the chemical methods which stops the growth of microorganisms and which keeps the food in a proper way, means we can say it preserves. The next method we are having a preservation by common salt. Now a few food items need to be preserved by using common salt. Now common salt has been used to preserve meat and fish for ages. Meat and fish are covered with dry salt to check the growth of bacteria. Now salting is also used to preserve amla, raw mangoes, tamarind. Isn't it your mother does in winter season amlas with raw amlas preserved by a common salt method. So this is the best method for storing amlas, mangoes and tamarind for a long time. The next method we are having in preservation by sugar. Now what sugar does? Jams, jellies and squashes are preserved by sugar, and sugar reduces the moisture content which inhibits the growth of bacteria which spoil. Inhibits करता है means वो stop कर देता है growth को, bacteria के growth which spoils the food. The next method we are having a preservation by oil and vinegar. Now the another method which is used oil and vinegar for preserving food. Use of oil and vinegar prevents spoilage of food like pickles because bacteria cannot live in such environment. Vegetable, fruits, fish and meat are often preserved by this method. Now next method we are having heat and cold treatments. Now how heat and cold treatment preserve the food, let us understand. Now you must have observed your mother boiling milk before it is stored or used. Boiling kills many microorganisms. Similarly, we keep our food in the refrigerator. Low temperature inhibits the growth of microbes. So we can say by heating and cold effect, these microorganisms growth will be stopped or it may kill. Now Bujo is wondering, why does the milk that comes in packet not spoiled? My mother told me that milk is pasteurized. What is a pasteurized? Now Bujo is thinking that milk which is coming in packet are not spoiled, while the milk which we are taking from that different sources we need to boil before use. What is the reason behind it? That mother told that milk is pasteurized milk. Now what is the pasteurized milk? Pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling because as it is free from harmful bacteria, harmful microbes. The milk is heated about 70 degrees Celsius to 15 to 30 seconds. Milk is heated to 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilled and stored. Now this method, by doing this, it prevents the growth of microbes. This process was discovered by the great scientist Louis Pasteur, named the pasteurization. Now where this growth of the harmful bacteria or microbes are killed and the helpful microbes are remains by this method. So we can say that pasteurized milk is safe for drinking. The last method we are having over here is a storage and packing. Now these methods are useful and storage and packing plays an important role in preserving the food. Now let us see what about it. Now these days dry fruits and even vegetables are sold in a sealed airtight packets to prevent the attack of microbes. You might be sowing the different dry fruits like almonds, cashew, walnuts, pistachio are come in a airtight pack, sealed air, which is vacuum packed. So what happens, that stops the growth of certain bacteria or microbe which comes in the contact with the air, and in this way they are sealed very tightly, and their packets are such that the microorganisms does not attack that food items. So in this way we can preserve the foods. Chemical method: preservation by common salt, preservation by sugar, preservation by oil and vinegar, heat and cold treatments, storage and packing, and even we had also understand about the pasteurized milk which is discovered by the Louis Pasteur. Now let us understand 2.6 nitrogen fixation. Now here we can understand nitrogen fixation. Now you have learnt about the bacteria Rhizobium in class 6 and 7. It was involved in the fixation of nitrogen in the legumes plant, which is pulses. Recall the Rhizobium lives in the root nodules of a leguminous plant such as beans and peas, with which it has a symbiotic relationship. Sometimes nitrogen gets fixed through the action of lighting. You might be wondering that how nitrogen is fixed by the certain actions of lightning, because we can say that now when there is a lightning at a high temperature, the water which it reacts with the oxygen and it's alkaline and reaches the soil. Now in this way we can say the nitrogen is fixed in these three by the Rhizobium bacteria which lives in the root nodules of legumes plants, which converts that makes the nitrogen usable form to these legumes plant. Another, we are having a symbiotic relationship where two organisms live together and survive under one relationship, and nitrogen even fixed by the action of lightning. Now let us understand how nitrogen is important. Let's understand 2.7 nitrogen cycle. Now let's understand how this nitrogen cycle plays an important role. You can see on the board a figure of nitrogen cycle. Our atmosphere is 78% of nitrogen gas. Nitrogen is one of the essential constituent of all living organisms as part of proteins, chlorophyll, nucleic acids and vitamins. The atmospheric nitrogen can be taken directly by plants and animals. You can see, and the certain bacteria and blue-green algae present in the soil fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert them into a simple compounds of nitrogen. Once nitrogen is converted into these usable compounds, it can be utilized by the plants from the soil through their root system. Nitrogen is then used for the synthesis of plant proteins and other compounds. Animals feeding on plants get proteins and other nitrogen compounds which release. Now when the plants and animals die, bacteria and certain fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into nitrogenous compound to be used by plants again. So certain other bacteria convert some part of them to a nitrogen gas which goes back into the atmosphere, and as a result the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less. So we can say that the atmospheric nitrogen is also fixed by lightning effect, nitrogen fixing bacteria which atmospheric nitrogen, and the bacteria in turn fix the nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds for the legumes plants, and the compounds of the soil of the nitrogen in the soil which is taken up by the plants, and animals eat their plants where the nitrogenous waste from excretion is released, and even that release that waste. And again from the compounds of the nitrogen in the soil, the bacteria turn the compounds of nitrogen into gaseous nitrogen, and again it goes the atmospheric nitrogen. So in this manner the nitrogen cycle works. So nitrogen cycle is very important. So dear students, in this chapter we had understand microorganisms, friend and foe. How the microorganisms are friendly and which are the microorganisms are foe to us. Along with it we had also understand the nitrogen cycle and how the nitrogen cycle is important, how this nitrogen fixation plays an important role. We had also understand the different food preservations along with the different methods. We had also understand the disease causing microorganisms in animals and in plants and humans too. So we had also understand the role of the different scientists who plays roles in the discovering the vaccine and the medicines. So I hope you understand this chapter very well. Thank you.